As hybrid work expands, IT teams and installers struggle to deploy and manage meeting room devices efficiently across buildings, cities, even countries. Without automation, IT teams and installers spend hours manually configuring each device. They also have to enter the username and credentials for every single unit by hand. It's repetitive, time-consuming, and it can even introduce security risks if resource account credentials are shared with installers. With Autopilot, Yealink devices automatically apply pre-designed configured profiles from the cloud. Devices power on configure themselves, securely log into Teams. Yealink offers a range of devices that support Windows Autopilot, including M-Core 4 and M-Core OPS Gen 2. These devices deliver high-end video conferencing experiences with advanced AI power, ensuring every participant is clearly seen and heard. Enrollment is flexible and secure. End users can export the device's hardware hash and upload it directly to Intune. Alternatively, Yealink can provide the hash for enrollment, or a CSP can assist with registration. Either way, devices skip the traditional MVC system setup and Teams login, arriving fully configured and ready for meetings, all without local intervention. And whenever it needs to update Teams policies or roll out new versions, they can do it all at once through Intune, remotely and centrally. Now, let's take a look at how Yealink devices work with Windows Autopilot and Autologin. We'll use Microsoft Intune and the MTR Pro Management portal to show it in practice. First, let's open the Microsoft Learn article titled Windows Autopilot and Autologin for Teams rooms on Windows. This article includes the 9 steps we need to follow to ensure our devices can be properly enrolled in Autopilot and configured for Autologin. In this video, I'll walk you through all 9 steps with a live demo. We'll follow the Microsoft Learn guide, and at the same time, you'll see how it works in a real deployment scenario. Step 1 is to verify all prerequisites. This includes checking that we have the right licenses, confirming that automatic Intune enrollment is enabled, and making sure a proper resource account is already set up. Next, we're going to use Windows Autopilot device registration to collect the hardware identity using the hardware hash. For this demo, I'll register the device manually. Let's click this hyperlink. There are several ways to collect the hardware hash. Using Microsoft Configuration Manager, the diagnostic page, or the Windows Settings app. Since I'm remotely accessing this Microsoft Teams room device, I'll show you how to export the hash using PowerShell. Let's go to Start, search for PowerShell, and run it as administrator. Now scroll down the article and find the PowerShell script. Here it is. Let's copy the script and paste it into the PowerShell window. Great, we can now see the serial number. Let's also check the C drive to verify if the hash file was exported successfully. Here we have a folder named HWID inside. You'll find a CSV file. This is what the CSV file looks like. Your hardware hash will be unique to your device, and this is the file we'll upload to Intune later for testing Windows Autopilot. In the real-world deployment, if your devices that have already shipped or arrived, you can provide the M-Core serial number to Yealink to obtain the hash file. Just a note, in the Microsoft Learn article, it mentions that we may need to add a group tag into the CSV file, or use a prefix in the group name field. For testing purposes, we'll simply add the group tag directly in the Intune portal later. Here, under the Notes section, it explains how to manually register devices with Windows Autopilot. Let's click the hyperlink and scroll down. This page shows the steps to add devices manually. Now, let's go to Intune. From the home page, go to Devices, then navigate to Enrollment. Scroll down, and you'll find Windows Autopilot devices. Here, we can import our device. Click Import. Select the CSV file we just exported, and then click Import again. Now, let's wait for the import to complete. It may take a few minutes. Now, a notification pops up saying Devices Imported. Let's refresh the page and confirm the serial number is successfully listed. Click on the serial number, and the Properties panel will appear on the right. Here, we can find the group tag field we mentioned earlier. Now, let's go back to the article. It is very important to call out here that if you are uploading the file manually, make sure you include the group tag column in your CSV file or add a group tag value with the mtrp- prefix before you upload it. This ensures the device gets assigned to the correct deployment profile automatically. Let's copy the mtrp- prefix. Go back to the Intune page and paste it here into the group tag field. If you are managing devices across multiple locations, you can customize it. For example, mtrp-saddle mtr-New York. Just make sure it always starts with mtrp- so Intune can correctly recognize it as a Microsoft Teams Rooms device. Now, let's go ahead. Now let's move on to step 3. How to create a group for Teams Rooms consoles. Here we have a hyperlink that explains how to create a device group. And you'll also see the dynamic query we're going to use later. Let's click the hyperlink first. This page explains how to create a device group for Autopilot devices. Now, let's switch back to the Intune portal. On the left panel, go to Groups and click New Group. Here we can enter a group name. We recommend the group name indicate the location if it is global deployment. For example, use mtr-Seattle and simply note it is for Seattle devices. From the membership type dropdown, select Dynamic Device. Now, click Add Dynamic Query. Hit Edit, and you'll see a blank rule syntax box. Let's go back to the article and copy the dynamic query. Paste it here into the rule syntax field. Click OK, and then save. Now click Create. Great! We've just received a notification confirming that the group was successfully created. Now let's move on to step 4, which is about deploying the Teams Rooms app update tool. This step includes quite a few actions, so we'll go through them one by one. First, we need to download the update tool Win32 package. Once the file is ready, let's move back to the Intune portal. On the left panel, go to Apps. Click Windows. And here, we can start creating a new Windows app. Select Windows app Win32 and click Select. Now choose App Package File. Click the folder icon and upload the file we just downloaded from the Microsoft Learn page. Click OK to confirm. Here, we need to manually enter the publisher name, which is Microsoft. Then click Next. Under Device Restart Behavior, choose Intune will force a mandatory device restart. Click Next. Now we'll define the operating system architecture and minimum operating system version. These values are clearly listed in the Microsoft Learn article. To specify supported systems, check x86 and x64. Then select Windows 10 21H2 as the minimum version. Click Next. For rules format, choose Manually Configure Detection Rules and add a rule with typeset to MSI. Click Next. And Next again. Click Next. Now, we're at the assignment step. We need to add the device group we created in step 3. In the search field, type the group name and select it. Click Next. Finally, review all the configuration details to make sure everything looks correct. Everything looks good, so let's click Create. And that's it. The application has been successfully created. Now let's move on to step 5, creating a Windows Autopilot Enrollment Status Page, or ESP for short. So let's go back to the Intune portal. Go to Devices, then Enrollment, and scroll down. You'll find Enrollment Status Page. Click Create and give it a name. For example, MTR Autopilot ESP. Here we need to customize the settings, so select Yes. Then make sure to enable these two options. Allow users to reset device if installation error occurs. Block device use until required apps are installed, if they're assigned to the user or device. These are very important for ensuring the Teams Room setup runs automatically without interruptions. Next, we need to select the required application. Here you can see the Teams Rooms update tool we created in step 4. Just select it. click Next. Now we're at the assignment step. Click Add Group and select the group we created in step 3. Click Next. Next again. Now review all the settings. If everything looks correct, click Create, successfully created. Now, let's move to step 6, how to create a Windows Autopilot deployment profile. We can go to this hyperlink for more details on creating and assigning a self-deploying Autopilot profile. Now, let's head back to Intune. We're back under Windows Autopilot. But this time, we go to Deployment Profiles. Click Create Profile and select Windows PC. Let's name it MTR Autopilot Seattle Profile. There's a setting called Convert All Targeted Devices to Autopilot. According to the Microsoft article, this should be set to Yes. Then, click Next. Now, we're at the out-of-box experience configuration. Change the deployment mode to self-deploying. Most of the other settings become grayed out automatically. We can choose the default language for Microsoft Teams rooms on Windows. If your organization has multiple sites, you can create different profiles with different language settings. For now, let's keep English United States. Click Next. Add the device group we created earlier in step 3. Finally, review the settings to make sure everything looks correct, then create it. Refresh the page, and if the profile showed in this page, that means it's successfully created. Back to the Windows article, it now tells us to verify whether the devices have an Autopilot profile assigned. So, let's go back to Intune, Windows, Autopilot, Enrollment, Devices. Okay, the device is showing not assigned yet. Let's refresh. Now it shows pending. Okay, now the profile is assigned. Now, let's move forward to step 7, which is creating and assigning a local administrator password solution policy, or LAPS for short. We can start by clicking the hyperlink here. First, we need to enable LAPS in Entra ID. In the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, go to Devices YSID Device Settings, toggle Local Administrator Settings to Yes, and click Save. After that Entra configuration, we come back to Intune. Go to Endpoint Security. Then click Account Protection. Now we create a policy. Choose the platform Windows and under Profile Type, select LAPS. Let's name this policy MTR Autopilot LAPS, and then click Next. For the configuration settings, we can refer to this guidance here. It explains how it should be configured. Select Backup Password to Active Directory only. Here, you can adjust the password age days based on your organization's security policy. Then, toggle on Administrator Account Name and manually input the administrator name Admin. Click Next. Next. Now assign the device group we created in Step 3, called NTR Seattle, and then click Next. Review everything is correct or not, and hit Save. Great! The LAPS policy has been created successfully. Now that we've completed all the Autopilot configurations in Intune, let's move on and set up Autologin in the Microsoft Teams Room Pro Management portal. I've already signed into the portal. Let's go to Planning and then Windows Autopilot Devices. Here we can see our device is already listed. Click the serial number, then assign the account. Click Next. Let's pick a resource account, for example, Pro AV1. There are two options here. Since I've already created the resource account and assigned a password during setup, I'll just manually input the password. Then click Next and Finish. Then click Done. Now, if the provisioning status shows ready, that means everything is set. Let's back to the Microsoft article again. The final step is to deploy Teams rooms, and we can power on the M-Core 4 to see how the out-of-box experience looks. Once the Autopilot and Autologin set up successfully, we're ready to go. What we need to do is unbox the devices, connect the cable and power on it. If the M-Core can access to the internet, the out-of-box will take around 15 mins to 1 hour. After Autopilot and Autologin is finished, our devices will be ready to use. With Yealink and Windows Autopilot, meetings are ready the moment devices power on, and effortlessly managed afterwards.